Welcome to Focus on the Candidates. I'm Cynthia Pooler. My guest today is Bushra Amiwala, and Bushra is running for Congress in Illinois. So, Bushra, how's it going?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Cynthia, for having me on your show today.
It's a pleasure. So, why did you decide to run for Congress?
I tell people that the reason I ran for Congress is the same reason why I ran for public office the very first time, and it's to make a positive difference in my community. And it's exactly what continues to inspire me to run for public office today because I'm a product of good government working for me, and I'm terrified that that is not what the state of our current country looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is pretty pathetic, let's say. So, you're in Illinois, and there's a lot of stuff coming out from Illinois with your governor and stuff. So, have you ever run for office before?
I have. I first ran for public office when I was 19 years old. I
Okay,
Yeah, I ran against someone who'd been in office for 16 years, and I first got elected to public office 7 years ago on a board of education seat in my hometown.
that's great. So, what have you learned at being on the board of education?
The joke is the first thing you learn on a school board is what you cannot do. Yet, in
Okay.
spite of that, I'm really excited of some of the things that we got done. The biggest overarching theme that I learned being an elected official is people want the same things, even if they're saying them in different words. So, to
Mhm.
be able to find common ground and compromise to get things done has been really imperative for me at the local level.
Ha- um, have you gotten a lot of coverage from the press?
I got a lot of coverage when I was running for office the first time. So I became the first person of my generation to ever get elected to public office. And I was on the cover of Time magazine, which was really
You
sweet.
were?
I
What,
was
what
in
year?
in January 2018. It was myself and dozens of other women who all had run for office the first time. We were a part of the women's wave.
So it was all different offices.
It was all different offices.
Do you have a link that you could send me? I'd love to read that.
Sure, I'll make sure Elliot emails it to you afterwards.
Okay, great, great, great. So, as you have been a public official, um, what have you learned as far as like running for office again, the role of money?
Hmm. So the first time I ran for public office, Donald Trump was our president, and it's insane to me that he's still president now as I'm running for office 8 years later. And I remember the first time I was running, I got approached by corporate soda companies that wanted to offer me $55,500 worth of corporate PAC money. And I said no in 2017. And money in politics is the plague. Honestly, it's the reason why we don't have everyday people intentionally stepping up to run for public office because the barrier of entry because of money keeps people from even thinking about stepping up in this way. So not only do I decline corporate PAC money, it's something I've consistently been doing for almost a decade.
So you were approached by a soda company?
Yeah, 5 different soda companies because the office I was running for during that time, they were trying to add what was called a soda tax. I was against the soda tax because it would disproportionately impact low income families and people of color. So the soda companies thought that I was pro soda, which was definitely not the intent either.
Wow, that's interesting.
Mm.
So when this I find fascinating. So when they approached you and
Mhm.
you said no, what was their reaction?
I think they weren't used to people declining money like that. I think they weren't used to people sticking true to their values and being able and willing to stand up for what their interests are because money is such an issue that it's the reason why people can't get in to begin with. So I never heard from them again when I declined over email.
So you're taking small contributions.
I say small contributions and contributions from individuals, everyday people, not from corporate PACs, not from billionaires.
I see, by um, Ballotpedia that you have quite a number of challengers for your seat.
Yeah, there's 17 candidates right now, and it's a testament to the first time in almost 30 years we've had this seat be open. And every time I meet another candidate in this race or we have forums where we're all speaking, we all agree on so much more than we disagree. And I think it's really healthy, and our community is lucky to have so many options to pick from.
That must be interesting with so many candidates. And have you become friends with any of them?
Honestly, it's funny that you mentioned. I was joking with one of the other candidates that I've seen them more than I've seen my own friends and family because we're all getting invited to the same events. We have a lot of back-to-back events that we all attend to, and of course we're going to be friendly and cordial with one another because we are the only ones that have this shared experience and understand what it takes to run for this seat right now.
Wow. What qualities, um, I'm sorry, what are your interests outside politics? Because nobody is one-dimensional.
Mhm.
So what motivates you to get up every morning?
That's really sweet question, actually. So I jokingly say I'm a bad coffee connoisseur. I'm really into coffee and attending new coffee shops that are opening in our area, but I don't know if I actually have the taste palette to know whether it's good coffee or not. I think all coffee is good coffee, which is why I'm probably not the best coffee connoisseur. I'm really into fashion and makeup. I think it's really sweet to be able to tap into those elements of me as well. And then finally, I'm really into volunteerism. I love being able to give my time in ways where it makes me feel productive. And it's something I've been doing since my early teens. So it's a consistent habit I've had for over the years.
When you say you have an interest in fashion, can you describe that?
Sure. I'm oftentimes testing out different colors and definitely not shying away from color as well. I always like to dress in a presentable manner that's chic and fashion forward. I don't think politics needs to be boring. I also am someone that oftentimes gets compliments on how I'm dressed as well. I don't think I'm a fashionista by any means, but I've always really been into admiring fashion, whether it be through magazines or through different fashion shows.
So, are any of your other rivals into fashion like you?
I don't know if they're in maybe interested in the same way, but I think a lot of them have really cute style as well. I think I notice a lot of us don't just wear traditional suits, which is nice. There's a lot of men in my race, and they all do wear navy suits all the time, but
Mm.
they might be into fashion. I actually, fun fact was a I used to compete in Miss America pageants at one point, so that's a testament to how into that side I was.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, will you ever Miss Illinois?
I wasn't ever Miss Illinois. I only competed in a handful of pageants, but I was second place runner up for Miss Iowa.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Was it nerve-wracking?
Yeah, it was in Davenport, Iowa. So it was for the Quad Cities. So it was for Miss Quad Cities, actually, I should clarify. And it was just an out of the box experience. It was something that I was interested in doing and wanted to test out. And I hadn't seen someone who looked like me that was in the Miss America pageant space, but I learned a lot about interviewing and what it takes to do something like that. It's so
Mhm.
much more than fashion and beauty and the outfits, but there's an element to service of it too that I really admired.
So, what did you learn from your Miss America endeavor?
I learned that in order to even qualify as someone in that space, you need to have leadership and service embedded in what you do. And I think growing up, I always assumed something like Miss America was just about looking the prettiest or being the nicest. And it was a lot more than that.
Mhm. So, what unique qualities will you bring to the table if you're elected?
I say it's a handful of things. It's consistency, credibility, relationships, and lived experience. These are all four things that money can't buy. Money
Mm,
cannot buy a consistent track record. It can't buy credibility. You either earn it or you don't. Relationships that have thoughtfully been curated because I've lived in this district my entire life, to the
mm,
lived experience of someone that grew up without insurance once I got to undergrad, to someone who's lived through what it means to have been a part of a working class family, to living through public schools in this community, to living through needing FAFSA to go to college. This all means that the policy and positions and solutions I have for everyday problems that I hear people in my district tell me about means that I can relate to them because they've impacted me as well.
You know, you and I just touched upon the fact that this is not the most pleasant time in America right now.
Mhm.
Would you comment about all the hate and division that you see?
Something I tell people about the hate and division is that it's actually the 1% versus the 99% when it comes to income earners. And really, they want us to be divided, whether it be amongst our own party lines, whether it be amongst our own different racial and ethnic background and community lines. And I don't believe that we have that much vitriol as we do what we do in common. That being said, I will never be the person that can compromise on my values, but I do think there are ways where there is common ground. We all want safe communities. We all want to be able to have good public schools. We all want to be able to afford the place that we live and have access to healthcare and have a little money left over too, which barely we're being able to survive. And it's a testament to the people that are in charge and who's buying our candidates and elected officials right now.
You know, there's been a lot of talk about the influence of APAC in this country.
Mhm.
Have you been approached by APAC to be a contributor to your campaign?
As someone who's been very outspoken about the genocide in Gaza, I have not been approached by APAC, but
Mm,
there are candidates in my race that have, and APAC is publicly supporting candidates in my race. And APAC will probably be spending money against a candidate like me as well.
mm. Do you feel you're being threatened by that? In other words, will they put a damper on your campaign?
If they can't find something about me that's worth spreading, they'll make something up. And I'm lucky to have real relationships and a consistent, proven track record with my community and my neighbors where they'll be able to filter through the noise. And that's what makes me feel okay about it.
Now, you've been on the school board and now you're running for Congress.
Mhm.
Do you think that politics is theater? And if so, why?
I think if politics was theater, it's been perpetuated by the same old. And I can tell you there's nothing theatrical about the work that I'm doing. And that's why when people do put on theatrics and are being performative in their activism or who they're speaking out for, yet voting in another way, we're all paying attention. And in such an interconnected and digital world, you can't hide from hypocrites anymore. So I personally do not think that I view politics as theater, but I see the perpetrators of the theater, and I'm glad that the act is up.
You think it's up?
I think it's harder to keep the act up, and that's what's making it up.
Okay. So if you believe that there is an act to all this, can you describe that act to me?
I see the act as people taking financial contributions from corporate lobbying groups, special interest groups, foreign public policy groups that are not even registered as foreign groups, and then voting in the interest of who is signing campaign checks. Yet looking at their constituents in the eye saying, vote for me because I'm here for you, when the theatrics is we know that they're just in the interest of their donors.
Wow. Wow. So one last question. I know you have something else going on after this. If your fairy godmother came down to you today,
Uh-huh.
handed you her her magic wand and said, "You can have one wish to make this country better,"
Mm.
what would that wish be?
It's hard to wish just one thing. But I tell people that I'm a product of good government and government working for us. And in a perfect world, if government did what it was supposed to, we wouldn't need any nonprofit organizations. So, my magic wand wish would be that every single person in this country can have access to healthcare, can afford to go to whatever school, vacational program, to be able to afford to live in a home without fear of any kind, whether it be racism, whether it be a fear of ICE, whether it be fear of what our nation's progress looks like. I want everyone to have access to basic human needs.
I'm glad you said that. One question: has ICE been prevalent in Illinois?
ICE has been prevalent in Illinois since February. That is the first time I got a phone call that ICE was terrorizing our neighbors. And I've been organizing against ICE since then. I've been a victim of getting tear gassed by ICE for standing up against. And I've canvassed my local neighborhood's businesses to educate people on knowing their rights. This work is deeply personal to me, and that's why I bring up the consistency piece too.
So, one last thought. What's your final thought?
Mhm. My final thought is this was great to be able to barely scratch the surface on what goes into running for office, and I enjoyed our conversation. For your listeners, if you liked what you heard or are interested in hearing more, my website is bushraforcongress.com. And I'm on all socials as well at Bushra Amiwala. I respond to all my DMs on Instagram unless they're mean.
Oh, that's cute. And if they are mean, what do you do?
I
Ignore
just
them?
ignore them. Yeah.
So, Bushra, thank you so much. I know you have another engagement right after this. So, thanks for being on Focus on Albany. And for everybody listening, if you like this channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and please uh, mark your calendars, because on the first Saturday in August, I'm designating that National Candidate Recognition Day. We People don't recognize the effort, the time, the money, the sacrifices that candidates put in to keep democracy alive. So the first Saturday in August, which I believe is August 1st this year. Mark your calendars, and let's celebrate all the candidates that are running this year and all the candidates that have run in the past. Thank you, Bushra. You have a wonderful day, and thank you everybody for listening. Have a great day. Thank you.